Hey, welcome everyone. It's What the Fluff. Thank you for showing up. I see there's already people chatting about things. That's awesome. So, I used to think that animals didn't grieve. As a young animal communicator, I would connect with animals and I heard things like, I don't grieve. I'm not grieving. And I was like, okay, animals don't grieve because I always trust the animals. Which is really crazy because when I was a little girl, I thought animals grieved. I knew animals grieved. But in the beginning of my animal communication career, I heard, I'm not grieving. And I went with that. But I got it completely, I was so wrong. I got it completely wrong. Because what the animals were saying is not, I don't grieve. I'm not grieving. I was cutting them off before they were finishing. They were saying, I don't grieve like you. I'm not grieving like humans grieve. And once I finally understood this and really got what they were saying, it actually changed my entire view of the animal afterlife and how animals handle grief and what their expectations are and what their needs are. And it changed how I support people and their animals when the people and the animals have lost somebody. So in today's live stream, I'm going to talk about the two ways that animals grieve. We're going to talk about the way that is probably like the most subtle and also the most misinterpreted, and it causes the most problems. So we're going to talk about that too. We'll also cover what not to do when an animal is grieving, because that's really important. And I want to share with you what the animals have shared with me. And we're going to cover what to do in several different ways if you have an animal that's grieving, and how, when you do what the animals want you to do, it actually helps you in your grief process as well. So what I want to start out here with is drop the name of the animal that brought you here in the comments. So this could be like the animal that you have that's grieving. This could be the animal that you're now grieving. But I want to hear that animal's name. I want you to put that name in, because it also brings you closer together to talk about them, to share about them. That's a really important piece here. Okay, so we're gonna, and at the end, I will answer questions about helping animals grieve. Thank you. I love all the names. Thank you. I'll answer, at the end, I'll answer questions about how animals grieve as well, in case I missed anything, because sometimes I miss stuff. Okay, so there are two ways that we're going to talk about that animals grieve. Now, the first way is the common way, the way that most people understand and accept and expect. And that is, first, the physical way. At the physical level, animals are missing their companions. They're missing their physical reality. They're missing touch. They're missing the everyday routine. This is how we as humans usually perceive grief to be. And it's really hard. And it's especially hard when we as humans are kind of like telling a story in our head about what they must be feeling and how it must be for them, etc., because we know what it's like to miss our beloved pet who's crossed over. So that physical way is not new to you. This is what you already know. But that physical way is also softened from how we experience it as humans because of the other way. And the other way that animals grieve is, and the other way that animals handle their grief and their missing feeling, is through their connection with the animals at the soul level. So at the soul level, the animal, your grieving pet who's here, is actually still connected with their pet on the other side. They're not their pet on the other side. The animal is actually still connected with their friend on the other side. Now, whether that is a an animal companion or a human companion. There's still a connection there. And because the animals are so much more like connected with the other side. Hold on one second. I got to fix that. Because animals are so much more connected with the other side than we are, and because they don't need to do the work that we need to do to be connected with the other side, they still are in connection with their beloved one who crossed over. So this means they can still see them, they can still talk with them, play with them, interact with them, feel them. They just can't physically touch them. There's no physical piece going on. But because they have that connection, they're not as cut off like we are. Like, how many of you have missed a pet on the other side and you just feel like, I can't talk to them, I can't touch them, but also I can't talk to them, I can't connect with them. You want that part. Well, the animals that are still here, they have it. They have it with their animals and their humans that have crossed over. So because there's still that connection, and this is what I'm always talking about for us as humans, that we can continue our relationship with our pets once they've crossed, because they still have that, it does soften the pet grief, your pet's grief. It doesn't take it away. It just changes it a little bit because they have that connection going on. Now, there's another way. There's that animals will connect. I'm sorry, that animals grieve as well. And this is the one that's misunderstood. And this is the one where people, they make the mistake, and it's a totally human, normal, totally normal mistake because we're humans and this is how we think. But the person makes the mistake here, and it actually sets off or back their animal's grieving process. So your animal that's still here is super, super connected to you and to the humans in the house. And if you, as the human, are grieving, if you are, which is really a common thing, avoiding actually the animal that's still alive because it hurts your heart too much, or you feel like you're cheating on them, or the one who's crossed over, or you're in a depression, or you're, all the things that we do as humans when we're grieving. Our animals, because they are intuitively connected to us, they are connected to us at the soul level. Like they are in here, right? They get us, they feel it, they know it. It's all part of them as well because they're so connected to us. If you're in that state, a lot of the time your animal will take on that state as well. They feel it. You're depressed. This is depressed energy. Okay, so they're reacting to your depression or your grief. I am not saying you shouldn't grieve or feel depressed or any of that stuff. What I am saying is a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that their pet's grief is all their pet's own grief. But often we are putting our stuff on top of that because the animal is taking it in, the animal is feeling it, the animal is experiencing all of that. And so we think, like, if I make up a scale, that the animal is grieving at a level 9. Really, they're grieving at a level, say, 4. But they're also feeling and interacting and responding to our grief. So that's kind of a hard one, right? Because what's your natural thought is, I'm not going to grieve. I'm going to pretend. I'm going to be okay, right? Around my pet so they can be okay. But this isn't what it's about. That's not what they want you to do. So we're going to talk for a moment about what not to do. We're going to talk more about what I just started talking about, and then we're going to talk about what to do. And I also wanted to say, and this is a weird thing, I don't like saying it because I know that we as human beings really want to do everything that we can for our pets. And so if we realize that our grief is affecting them, what do we want to do? We want to go into, well, I'm going to make myself not grieve, and I'm going to be happy around them. I'm going to fake it until I make it. It doesn't work. Your pet's intuitively connected to you. So faking it till you make it literally just makes it worse. So no faking it till you make it. You have to be honest about what's really going on with you. The other thing not to do I think that a lot of people end up saying, well, my pet's grieving, I'm going to get him another friend. I'm going to get her a friend. Whether they lost a human or they lost another animal, a lot of people think, well, we just need another one in place. However, first of all, your one on the other side, whoever's on the other side is not going to be jealous of that. That's not a concern. And I have plenty of videos about that. But the animal that is here will give you signs. The universe will open it up. It will make it clear and obvious. Hey, now is the time. So if you're just going into fix it mode, you're not going to be paying attention to what really needs to happen. And replacing their companion isn't necessarily what that animal needs. It could be, but it isn't necessarily. So that jump to do that, you have to go slow. You have to do some other things first. But these curls. You have to do some other things first before you can really know for sure if it's right to get another animal. The other thing, actually, I think the other thing not to do is not to baby them. Now, humans, we love when somebody's like, are you okay? Are you okay? And they talk to us like this, and we feel so supported and like they're really watching out for us. Doesn't often work that way for animals. A lot of the animals that I'm connecting with as an animal communicator, they want to have their normal life, whatever their normal life is, or they want to be together in connection. But what they're not looking for is to be looked at as a victim or poor baby, because that's us putting them in a smaller energy. They need to go through their own grieving process just like we do. And if we're doing that, we're kind of like smushing them down. We don't want to be doing that. Okay. I have a lot of videos on the other side, so be sure to hit subscribe. And I actually want to say this is a really cool thing. You are here because you have an animal that passed, or you're dealing with this, the grief, and you want messages and you want signs. What's a great way to open a pathway to maybe getting a sign from your pet? It would be hitting subscribe to open up a little pathway so that the animals can like ping you my video or give you a reminder or something. They actually do use technology, and I do have a video on that that I'll show you, that I'll link to in the description. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what to do. And what to do is a little bit different, and then we'll get to the actually a deeper level of what to do, kind of a fun thing of what to do, and then we'll get to the head tilt questions. What to do. So it's really important that you acknowledge where you are in your own grieving process. Yes, your pet lost somebody, and you also lost them as well. So like I was just saying, you can't pretend that you're fine, but you also want to be honest and truthful with your pet about how you're really feeling in this moment. If you're feeling sad, just say to them, I'm really sad right now. It's okay. You can just say it that way. They want that transparency. It actually helps create connection. So that's a really big one. I think that a lot of people will just stay inside their head, and they'll kind of go through the motions while they're going through their own grief, but they won't kind of reach out for connection, not total leaning on the animal that's still here. What works better is connection. So it's kind of like, when you call your friend and you say to your friend, oh, this bad stuff happened, and and the friend is tired at the end of that phone conversation. We're not looking for that. We're looking for calling your friend saying, I am just having a hard day today. I just need some love right now, and your friend says, hey, I'll come over and put my arm around you. That kind of thing. It's different. It's connection. It's emotional connection. And they love that. It doesn't mean you have to not be grieving. It doesn't mean you have to be in this perfect emotional space. What it does mean is you're being transparent about whatever is going on with you, which, think about it, in life always creates connection. The next one would be, you have to look at what you're capable of doing in your day, because you're grieving too. Yes, your animal is grieving, but pushing yourself to take them for extra walks when you can barely get out of bed, and you're like, but they need 4 walks a day. Pushing yourself to like be heroic for them is not going to work. So you really need to look at, what can you handle in this moment? What feels doable to you? What might even feel connective to you? And then tell your animal about it, share it. Literally, like, say, I cannot do 2 walks today, but we're going to go on this walk today. Or, whatever the thing is, we can't go for a ride today, but tomorrow I've planned it out. I've made space, and I'm looking forward to doing that with you. Be honest and truthful about what you can handle. And you know what? You can't handle some of the things, and that's okay. And then last, and this is like so important, you and your pet have lost a human, or they have lost another animal. This means that your entire routine has changed. That person is no longer there, or that that animal is no longer there. And that means how you do your day is different, and how your animal does their day is different. So one of the most healing things, when you're ready for it, is creating your new normal, creating the new way. Now, maybe the new way in this month, and then as you move through your process and your animal moves through their process, it's new again in another month. But you have to construct your new life together. It's so important to you and the animal who's still here to find your own things. The animal that's crossed over, or the human that's crossed over, they're not going to be upset that you're no longer doing this, or you're doing this now instead, or you're doing this without them. Again, that's not a thing for them. What is a thing is finding the new way together. And that means being connected emotionally, spiritually to the animal that's still here and who is grieving, and noticing, well, what's working, what's not. How when somebody dies, what happens? The animal starts behaving differently, right? Things happen. And so now you have to watch, well, what does it mean? Well, now that my alpha cat is not here, my dog is behaving totally differently. And the roles are different, and how we interact is different, which means the things that might have been really cool to do before, no longer cool, or maybe cooler. So this is about you becoming aware of what's happening in your relationship and consciously creating. Okay, the last cool, I don't know. I think it's really cool. So remember in the beginning when we talked about how your animal that's still here has this deep, cool, wonderful soul level connection to the human or the animal that have crossed over. And so it does change their physical grieving experience a bit from what we have, because we don't have such a strong connection to the world of spirit. You can actually watch your animal that's still here to see when they're interacting with the one who's crossed over. You can also, and this is really cool, you got to feel like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to try this thing. You can also say to your animal that's still here, hey, I know you still connect with them. Let me know. Show me when they're around. I would love for us, the 3 of us, to feel like we're together again, or I'd love to watch you in that moment. it connects you to your animal that's still here, and it lets them know how accepting you are, and you feel that emotional connection. And at the same time, it brings the three of you together. But you got to be comfortable doing it and talking to your animal, talking to your pet, and then you gotta not be going, it's a coincidence. Is this really it? Is it not? I don't know. You can't go down that road. You just gotta, I have a friend and he said he had to learn Japanese and he had the hardest time because the Japanese, people who spoke Japanese, they couldn't understand him. So he said, I just had to pretend like I was Japanese in a play. And so same kind of idea here. You've just got to pretend I'm in a play and I'm saying this to my animal and I'm cool with it. It will actually help them and help you be able to know when they're showing you that your loved one is around. I have a video about technology that I will be sure to link at the bottom. And now what I want to know is, I'm going to put my glasses on and I'm going to have you, oh, I said that wrong, didn't I? I have a video all about how animals use technology to get signs through that I'll put in the description. And I have 48 signs from Pets on the Other Side, a free PDF if you want to get that. And that's also in the description. So you can grab that and hopefully enjoy it and feel good about it because it's really cool when you start getting some validation. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a few head tilt questions. Here's the thing. These are not readings. If you want a reading, I do readings in my Be Open community and you can go there or you can go to one of my practitioners, but these are not personal readings. These are questions about how to help a grieving pet. So if you would like to put your question in there, I have my trusty glasses from I have my glasses and I'm going to start looking at what you're asking. Okay. Rebecca says, my cat has been more vocal since her first sister died. I'm wondering if it's because she can see her sister and is trying to tell us she's there. Yeah. So Rebecca, this is really great. It's a sign. So what I want you to do is I want you to trust. And everybody, this is what you have to do. You have to trust. If you start going, oh, is this a sign? I just want you to run with it. The more you lower your standards about getting the sign, the more signs come through, the actually bigger the signs eventually get. But they do start small. Although I would say your cat crying like that is not a small sign. Okay. So we're going to look at questions. So we're asking questions, not personal questions. We're asking questions about how to help your pet grieve. That's what we're doing. I know it's challenging because what you really want is a personal reading, and I get it, but we're not doing that here. It just doesn't work. I work in a very much more intimate way. And so my Be Open community, and actually we're doing a cool masterclass in my Be Open community next week if you want to come. That's where I do my readings. I don't do private readings. Okay. So here we go. So this person, once a week man, I've seen you here before, is asking about an animal. Wait, let me just make sure I say it correctly. Is asking about the younger dog is doing things the older dog did. So when that starts happening, it's a sign a lot of the times that the animal that's crossed over is hanging around. You know, probably that one of the things that I believe from having talked to the animals is that they are the animals that have crossed over. They come back and they help and they connect with and they share with the animals that are still here and they like get them up to speed. So when that's happening, you can bet, yeah, that is a sign that your passed over dog is around and is guiding. And what would be really cool, once a week man, sorry, you don't have a name, would be if when you noticed it, you stopped and you said, hey, I know you're around. I'm so excited. And kind of imagine the three of you coming together or being together, like revel in that. Okay. Um, my cats have been stuck to me like glue since Hunter's passing. Could they be grieving or watching over me for Hunter? Yeah. So this is another sign. It can go a couple ways for, so sometimes when somebody passes, the animals that are still left or the animal that's still left here will become incredibly close to us, stuck to us. And a lot of the time when I talk to those animals, they're saying, hey, I'm here, I'm supporting my human. This is a big deal and I want to be here for my human. So it could be for sure that. And I love that you asked the question and you already kind of had the knowing of what you thought it might be. All right. We're going to go to Cynthia. How can I differentiate between, well, that's not about grieving. Sorry. Okay. We're going to do in grieving. Okay. Carolyn K. Is leaning on your leaning on your grieving pet for your own emotional support harmful for them? And if so, in what way? Okay. So it really depends what the leaning is, right? We talked about leaning as in being together and creating a new life together. That's a great way to do it. Holding on to your pet, your horse, your cat, whoever it is, and crying and crying and crying and crying, it's not giving them space for their own process, and it's actually they're in a energetic way. You could be pulling on their energy to make their energy support you rather than allowing them to show up to support you. Doesn't mean you can never cry and grieve around your pet, but this kind of thing and crying all the time and that idea, it is a lot for an animal. They will do it, but it's not actually helping either of your grieving process. Once you get to the point where you can notice you're doing this, some of us do it, a lot of us do it, we don't know that we're doing it. Once you get to the point where you're noticing you're doing it, it should open you up to be like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I want to do some energy management so that we can be around and be together and be connected and feel each other with your pet that's still here versus I'm going to dump all of my emotions on them. It is a lot for an animal to take, and they do absorb that emotionally. They do absorb that energetically and physically. That's a big deal. We don't really want them to do a ton of that. Yeah, they do some, as we all do that, some in our relationships, but we don't want that to be the habit. Coming to be with your pet through connection would be a lot better. It doesn't mean you can't cry, but maybe you guys are walking through the forest and you're weeping a little, but you're also psyched to be together. That's a different way. And then they're able to do their thing and be in their grief as well. It's like tandem grief, connected grief. Okay. And your videos saved my life. I was dying of heartbreak after losing my Tammy last year. Aw, thank you. I'm really glad to hear that you found some comfort from some of the stuff I'm doing. Thank you. Okay. Is it okay that we still gave them treats even so they have passed? Would they love that, or would it make the grieving process worse? Oh, I just don't understand that question. Are you asking, is it okay? Nope, I don't understand that question at all. I'm so sorry. I don't understand it. Okay. Okay. Do they feel to connect from the other side, even if the big parts of? Okay, no, we got to stay with the helping your pet grieving. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking questions. I hope that you are feeling a little like you have more direction in how to help your pet, and you can see how not pretending and not like faking it until you make it and being honest and building in a more conscious way the relationship with your pet that's still here helps not just them, but also you. Okay. Bye.